What if the Roma did what Israel did? What would happen if the Roma and Sinti walked into Poland tomorrow and said, "This land was promised to us 3,000 years ago. Move." They'd be laughed at, arrested, deported, and called insane. Europe would choke on its coffee before the UN even finished dialing into the emergency meeting. Because everyone knows everyone. That Roma and Sinti don't get to claim ancient scripture, mythical ancestry, or divine real estate to take over a country. They don't get to weaponize suffering into sovereignty. They don't get to turn 1,000 years of oppression into a border. But Israel did. Israel got to take a biblical scroll, blow the dust off of it, point at a verse written in a Bronze Age desert and say, "This land is ours, God said so." And suddenly the entire Western world nodded like obedient puppies and said, "Yes, of course, absolutely. Here are your borders. Here's your military, have fun." Meanwhile, the Roma and Sinti, who were enslaved, exterminated, starved, hunted, and burned across Europe for centuries, didn't get a homeland. They didn't get reparations. They didn't get a military. They didn't get political sponsorship. Hell, they barely got an apology. They got ghettos, stereotypes, poverty, and police raids. So let's stop pretending this is about justice or history or morality. This is about power. This is about who gets to claim a promise and who gets told to shut up and assimilate. If the Roma and Sinti said, "Our ancestors wandered, God promised us this land, this is our ancient home," Europe would collectively scream, "Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. That's fiction. That's extremism." But when Israel says the exact same sentence, oh wow, fascinating. Holy text, historical right. Very compelling, yes please. Redraw the map. Why? Because Israel had global backing, nuclear power, geopolitical leverage, and the United States behind it. The Roma and Sinti have none of that, just 1,000 years of persecution and zero political capital. Israel turned trauma into territory. Roma and Sinti were told trauma is not a currency. Israel used ancient claims to justify a modern state. Roma and Sinti are told ancient claims are fairy tales. Israel displaced an entire people and called it destiny. Roma and Sinti can't even stop European governments from evicting them from legal campsites. Don't talk to me about historical rights or moral truth. Talk to me about the hierarchy of whose suffering counts. Some people's tragedy becomes a state. Others' tragedy becomes statistics. Roma and Sinti don't get to claim land because they don't have missiles. They don't have a lobby. They don't have a superpower sponsor whispering, "Yes, take it, we'll cover you." The world doesn't reward justice. It rewards the people who have the leverage to enforce their version of it. If the Roma and Sinti tried to imitate Israel's path to nationhood, the world would crush them before lunchtime.